Hi, it's Nick from the Run Testers, and today I'm going to be talking about the Nike Air Zoom Alphafly NEXT. It's a successor to obviously the Vaporfly NEXT. It's Nike's new top racer, the shoe that Eliud Kipchoge used to run his sub-2 marathon in Vienna. It's pretty much the most exciting new launch this year. This is going to be my early review of the shoe. So I've done 60k in it so far, kind of varying paces, varying lengths of runs. So it's a bit more than first impressions. I've got a pretty good idea about the shoe now, I feel. But I'd like to get some kind of race pace efforts in before we kind of deliver our full and final verdict on it. Also down the line, we're going to be looking at doing a separate video comparing it directly to the Vaporfly NEXT and maybe some other super shoes like the Saucony Endorphin Pro, which hopefully is on its way to us now. So the shoe is the successor to the Vaporfly, and it differs in kind of several key ways. It's got an even higher stack. I mean, look at the size of that. It's 40 millimeters in a US 8.5, which is the limit of what's allowed under new World Athletics rulings. The stack will be higher if you have bigger feet and lower if you have smaller feet. It's an 8 millimeter drop from heel to toe, which is kind of good. I think that's a good racing drop. You want 8 to 10 millimeters. Well, I do anyway in my racing shoes. And the upper's also been changed from the Vaporfly NEXT. It is this Nike's new Atom Knit upper, which is kind of loosely related to Flyknit, but it doesn't really have that kind of sock-like stretchy feel of Flyknit. It's a tight upper. It's a good upper, I think, for racing. The very open weave, so it's really breathable. More to hopefully just flow out. A bit of reinforcement around the toe, but quite a big midfoot. It's generally just quite a good upper, I think, for racing. It's quite easy to get a lockdown fit. Perhaps the key difference though is on the bottom of the shoe, which is these new Air Zoom pods in the forefoot. These are kind of a bit more responsive, return a bit more energy than kind of Zoom X foam, and they're a bit firmer as well, which provides the kind of more propulsive toe off to the shoe. The Alphafly is going to cost $259.99 in the UK. I think it's $275 in the US. I'm not entirely sure on that. When it comes to weight, there's another difference here to the Vaporfly, which this is a heavier shoe. I haven't seen kind of official figures on this, but I've weighed both in my kitchen, and this came in at 232 grams. This is a size UK 9. Vaporfly NEXT is the same size, and that was just under 200 grams, so it is a bit heavier. That's probably due to the kind of the Air Zoom pods, and there's a bit more rubber on the outsole as well. I think it's designed to be a more durable shoe, especially at the forefoot. There's a reasonably big wedge of rubber there. Nike VP suggested in an article recently that it should last as long as any other training shoe. So you're getting a bit more durability, but you're also getting a higher price. Obviously, it's got a carbon plate in it as well. I think that kind of goes without saying these days. And when it comes to availability, it's kind of been out in the UK in the Nike Run Club app, if you're a member of that already, but I think that's already sold out that line. It'll be available in early June again. I think if you're a Nike member on any of their apps, you might get access a couple of days early, and then kind of June 6th, I think is kind of more global general availability. I imagine it's going to sell out quick, so move fast if you are keen to get there. The fit of the shoe was true to size for me. I wore a 9 in this, I wore a 9 in the Vaporfly NEXT, I wore a 9 in the 4% Flyknit and non-Flyknit versions. Like I say, this upper is this Atom Knit upper is tight but kind of breathable and comfortable. I don't think there's going to be a lot of give in it over time, and it's got reasonably roomy toe box. Not that roomy, it's still kind of a racing shoe. These laces I found were very quick to tighten as well, down all the way up before a run, which I'm kind of always frustrated by if I have to do it, because it feels like it's going to take ages, but no, it was really quick. So yeah, the fit's good. It's true to size for me, and I think no one will really find it that uncomfortable, especially around the upper. Okay, onto the key section. What's it like to run in? Well, just one word review would be brilliant. I've done kind of 4 runs in the shoe. First thing I did in it was kind of 5 miles easy with some strides at the end. And it was fine. Like it's not really what it's for. Don't do too much easy running in this shoe, I think it's fair to say. But straight away, there's a notably different feel to the Vaporfly for me. You still get that really soft, springy landing from the huge wedge of kind of Zoom X foam on the back. But as you roll through to the Air Zoom pods in the forefoot, it's firmer. It's definitely firmer, and it's more kind of responsive. And you get a bit more pep in your step, kind of in every kind of toe off. When you're running easy, you more notice the kind of softness at the back, I think. But once you get up to speed, you really start to feel the kind of the best attributes of the shoe, which is that kind of responsive feel in the front and this kind of really smooth motion from heel to toe. So the second run I did was a kind of fartlek session, doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 minutes on, 2 sets of that, set out at a reasonably ambitious pace, and straight away it felt great. Like when you're running at your race pace, you know, probably with a higher cadence, kind of maybe a bit more efficient, it just feels so smooth, and you kind of forget about this high stack immediately, which you do think a bit when on that easy run. I do kind of remember noticing this much more, but once you're at pace, it just feels like such a fast, smooth shoe. In that session, I kind of set out that ambitious pace, but held it throughout, got a bit quicker in my second set, and just, yeah, that's when the first time it kind of really blew me away. Second run I did it was a 10k. I did the first half at 3:45k, so kind of steady, fastest pace for me, and then second half kind of stepped it up each kind of kilometre until I was running at my kind of 10k pace right at the end of that run. So for kind of a 35-minute 10k, and again, just blew me away. Like when you first look at it, it doesn't look necessarily like a 5k, 10k shoe. You might think marathons, but no, it's really, really quick, and you can go at your absolute fastest in it. I think, as the Ingebrigtsens proved kind of last week by knocking out Norwegian records whilst wearing it over 5k. Most recent run I did in it was an easy half marathon this morning, and again, this is kind of where kind of Vaporfly and other really good kind of all shoes of all kind have really stood out for me. Is when you set out, to run a reasonably easy to steady half marathon effort, but keeping your heart rate low. But your pace is still good, and that's kind of what the Vaporfly does. So today kind of ran, I think, a 126 half in this, heart rate low throughout, in that kind of zone 2, just like really smooth, really comfortable throughout the run, and that's really what you want. You want a good effort to feel easier in your kind of your long distance ratio in particular, and I think it's really going to excel, obviously, over marathon distance as a result of that. A few things about you, though, like that big stack. If you're somebody who really overstrides, I think you might notice a bit more in a kind of negative way. So like at the start of a rep, I kind of stupidly take kind of big long strides to get going, and I could kind of feel a bit of braking force from that. Once you're kind of landing under yourself, you kind of really roll through smoothly and efficiently with the shoe. So I do think it's important to kind of think about that when you're running in it. If you're kind of taking very, very few long strides, you might not get the same kind of joyful feel out of it. And obviously that big stack does come into play as well when you're hitting sharp turns at speed. It's not the most stable shoe for that kind of thing. So while it is, I think, fast enough to run 5k, and if it's a 5k with 6 dead turns, then it's not going to be ideal for that. It's just you do have to slow down a little bit to take those turns, just because of the high stack. And that's kind of one reason why I necessarily wouldn't think it's a shoe for everything. Like, might be people look at it, it's got the durability, I want to use it for all my runs, then it feels so good. But your easy runs, you don't need to use the shoe, and I think if you keep running in such a tall stacked shoe with that kind of soft feel, it might not be the best for your body over time, but it's really something to reserve for your hard efforts and your races. Other things I noticed, when I was running in it, every single run I did at the start of it, I had a slight kind of pain in the arch of my right foot, and it was a bit weird. I didn't feel it when I was walking around in the shoe. It would go away after about a kilometre, but it's just something I kept noticing, and maybe it's another reason I wouldn't wear it for all my runs, just kind of my hard efforts. I do think it's going to be a durable shoe, though. I have got one patch on one of them when the kind of the outsole rubber isn't there, and it's just kind of more the exposed foam. I have ripped a bit of that off. I don't think that's really going to affect it in any way. I've done that on all my kind of Vaporflies. Anywhere that's kind of exposed foam, as soon as you hit like a canal toe path or a slightly, not just pure asphalt track, you will lose that covering, but I don't think it really affects it. And the actual bits where there are outsole rubber that lasts a good long time, especially the forefoot, like a decent amount of rubber on there. I can see why it weighs a bit more, but it really should improve the terms of durability, which is obviously great when you're spending £260 on a shoe. So the upshot of it is Nike has done it again, I guess is what you'd say. They have improved on the Vaporfly a bit, and I think it will really start to tell when we're allowed to race again, and you can kind of hit those kind of long distance half marathon and marathon efforts. People are going to really love running in the shoe, but at the same time, surprisingly to me, I wouldn't count it out as a short distance racing shoe as well, although there probably is room in Nike's line to kind of reduce the stack for a slightly more stable experience when you're dashing around a kind of 5k course. But yeah, all in all, if you're excited about the shoe, I don't think you'll be disappointed, is my early verdict. I certainly wasn't. I can't wait to kind of go out and do some more hard efforts in it. So that's it, guys. That's our early review of the Alphafly. We'll let you know when the full review's coming, once I've put in some even harder runs in it. Let us know what else you'd like to know about the shoe, like what videos you'd like to see, what shoes you want it compared to, and we'll do our very best to kind of get those out to you. As always, please do remember to like and subscribe and ring the little bell so you get to see our next video, which will probably be about another carbon plated super shoe. There's a lot of them coming out right now. So thanks very much. See you next time.